So you've decided to root for Brazil in the World Cup. Maybe your country's team didn't make the cut this time.
Mamma mia!
Or maybe your team is in the tournament and in fact doing pretty good, but you know it's only a matter of time before they mess up and get eliminated. Or maybe your favorite color is yellow. I don't know. Whatever the reason, welcome to the torcida. Here's a quick tip. Anyone can and should learn simple phrases in Portuguese to shout during the games, like Vai Brasil! Vamos Brazil! Como assim cartão amarelo? Esse juiz burro é comprado, só pode. But we as gringo fans especially, we really ought to know a bit about the backstory of the seleção. The biggest victories, failures, the legends, the drama, and what the heck is this hashtag I keep seeing? And I promise you, knowing the lore will make watching the games way more exciting. So today, we're gonna learn 5 Brazilian expressions that tell us everything we need to know about why Brazil is the team to root for in this Copa do Mundo.
País do futebol negou, a técnico sambou, tocou Neymar ego.
To truly appreciate the Brazil World Cup saga, we need to talk about one of the darkest days in the history of Brazil's national team. Darkest days. All the way back in 1950, Brazil hosted the World Cup for the first time ever. It was the first World Cup since the end of World War II. People were stoked and Brazil was absolutely dominating. The rules were a little different back then, and there was no fase mata-mata. So when they got all the way to the final match, they had enough points to win overall, with just a tie against Uruguay. Just a simple empate. So after a historic run when 200,000 Brazilians gathered into the now famous Maracanã Stadium, which they had built specifically for that World Cup, everyone was expecting a guaranteed win. Newspapers were already printing headlines like this, crowning Brazil champions of the world before the game. We will only lose to Uruguay if this time the impossible happens. Well, guess what happened?
Uruguay were leading by 2-1. Brazil had 10 minutes to equalise. They failed to do it. Uruguay, for the second time, were world champions. Brazil's great day had finished in unimagined, impossible despair.
The suffix aço in Portuguese is used to augment a word, often in intensity or quality. Golaço, an incredible goal. Filmaço, a phenomenal film. So, Maracanaço was a very grand and memorable game in Maracanã Stadium, but not a happy one. So, I don't know, maybe the name is meant to be ironic, maybe it was actually coined by Uruguay, and that's why you often see it spelled with a Z. Either way, the fact that this game has its own nickname shows that Brazil remembers, and would never again allow such a crushing defeat in a World Cup hosted on its own soil. Foreshadowing. Before I tell you what's the deal with that ominous foreshadowing, I just want to remind you guys that if you enjoy these cultural deep dives and picking up some language tips along the way, you're gonna love our app, Lingopie. We're basically the streaming network that teaches you languages while you watch real TV shows and movies. Instead of boring flashcards, our app lets you click any subtitle on screen to instantly translate slang, save words, and naturally pick up the language while you binge watch. So you can learn real Portuguese while watching Brazilian TV shows, or check out the shows in our extensive catalog to learn any of these languages here. If you're ready to take your language skills to the next level and have fun while doing it, check out the link in the description or scan the QR code here to start your 7-day free trial. And back to the video. Joga Bonito. It means play beautifully. This is why Brazil has become synonymous with football. That way they play that's beyond skill. It's the artistry of the sport. Beyond skill. It's beyond the artistry of the sport. The artistry of the sport, nothing like that. But the legends that inspired the name. Pelé, the Michael Jordan of football. But say it with me, not Pele, Pelé. Ronaldo, o fenômeno. Yeah, you heard me right. Ronaldo. When a word or name starts with an R, it sounds like an H, which means that this guy is Ronaldinho. Fun fact, inho is a suffix that means small or cute or used affectionately. And since this Ronaldo came first and was already on Brazil's national team, when this Ronaldo joined the squad, he became Ronaldinho, little Ronaldo. And between those three legends alone, there are more highlights, golazos, and iconic moments than we could ever hope to count. But I'll tell you, one number that we are all acutely aware of is 5. As in 5 World Cup titles. More than any country in the world. 5. But we'd really prefer 6. Ooh, Hexa. Hexa, what does it mean? Well, think like a hexagon has 6 sides. But here we're talking about hexacampeão, 6-time champion, the 6th title. For whatever reason, for Brazilians, this is like the holy grail of accomplishments. And you've got to understand that in Brazil, this Hexa is not really viewed as like a dream or a hope. It's really just an inevitability that keeps getting delayed. It's kind of like that Brazil jersey that you ordered a month ago from that sketchy website with all the huge discounts that keeps getting delayed and is still in transit somehow. But it's coming eventually. I know it. And so every World Cup cycle, Brazilians flood social media with the same chant. O Hexa vem. The 6th one is coming! Every 4 years since 2002. And for a lot of that time, there was a very specific reason to believe it. And his name was Neymar. Say it with me, not Neymar. Neymar. In the late 2000s, this kid emerged from the outskirts of São Paulo who played with this ridiculously beautiful flair. That classic Joga Bonito. Skill moves that looked like they belonged in a Ronaldinho highlight reel, but this kid was only 17. And people started saying it quietly at first, but then it got louder and louder. He could be the one. He could be the one to finally deliver the Hexa. So then he goes to Barcelona, becomes one of the biggest football stars in the world, and he's on the Brazil national team. He's wearing the number 10 jersey, Pelé's number, Ronaldinho's number. The number reserved for the craque do time. And so in 2014, Brazil is set to host the World Cup for the first time since the Mineiraço 64 years ago. Back on home turf with the entire country cheering, Neymar leading the squad, this time o Hexa vem. Right? Right?
Brazil are being humiliated, humbled and taken apart, and their supporters simply cannot believe what they have seen.
I mean, talk about a dark day for the CBF. This is the one. Look, I don't think we have to spend too much time talking about this because, I mean, if you were even just alive back in 2014, you're probably at least aware of what happened on July 8th in the semifinals match at the Mineirão Stadium. The Mineiraço. Yeah, it freaking happened again on Brazilian soil in the World Cup, but even worse this time. Germany 7, Brazil 1.
Desculpa a todo mundo. Desculpa a todos os brasileiros. Só queria ver meu povo sorrindo.
And you don't need to be a football expert to know that that is beyond a normal defeat. That is a massacre. I mean, legit, I feel like flags should be flown at half-mast on that day from now on. It's insane. And it truly was a devastating moment. So, of course, Brazilians made a meme out of it. You know, it's like what they say. Tem que rir, pra não chorar. So now, when you suffer a crushing defeat in your own life, you can just call it a 7-1, a 7-1. In your work, school, love life, whatever, todo dia 7-1. So, Curaçao, take notes here. If you can laugh at yourselves, eventually the pain will fade. So here we are as a torcida, 12 years later, and the word that comes to mind is saudade. This is a very special word. Brazilians love to tell you all about how it's impossible to translate. There's no English equivalent. And alright, I guess it's kinda true. The closest you can come to saudade is something like a deep, bittersweet longing for something you love that's absent. That specific ache you feel for a person, a place, a moment in your life that's gone. That's Saudade. It kind of also perfectly describes how the Brazil fan base feels right now. Saudade for a time when the next victory felt so close we could taste it. Saudade do que a gente não viveu ainda. Or hey, just saudade for when Neymar truly was the hope of Brazil, back when he was more famous for his playing than for his Instagram shenanigans, cheating scandals. That's pretty bad, bro. Or becoming a worldwide meme about taking dives. Fun fact, in Portuguese, taking a dive is cavando falta. But hey, I don't want to pile on too much here. Neymar is still a legend, and Brazilians in general seem happy to have him back, and optimistic as ever about the team, and for good reason. Vinicius Jr., a superstar in his own right, Rafinha, Alisson, the up-and-comer Endrick, if they ever actually put him in the game, come on! And okay, look, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but, who am I kidding? It's what we do every World Cup. This time, I promise you, o Hexa vem! Well, friends, I hope you feel a little more prepared now to cheer for Brazil. Maybe picked up some new vocab as well. Comment below if you learned something. And when you're ready to take your Portuguese to the next level, or any of these languages, try out Lingopie for free. It really works and it's fun. Subscribe for more cultural deep dives and language tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.